Hi guys, welcome back to
Faith Builds Community.
I'm Nirvana.
And I'm KB. Most people think being blessed means having money, success, or comfort. But in Matthew chapter 5, being blessed means something totally different. Today we're breaking down the Beatitudes and the powerful message behind them.
Large crowds gathered as Jesus began his Sermon on the Mountain about what life in God's kingdom is really like. The first thing he gives is a list of blessings called the Beatitudes. The Beatitudes are statements that begin with the phrase, blessed are. But the word blessed here doesn't just mean happy. It means favored deeply by God.
Beatitude 1. Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Being poor in spirit doesn't mean being weak or worthless. It means recognizing that we are spiritually dependent on God. Someone who is poor in spirit doesn't rely on their own righteousness or pride. They humbly acknowledge their need for God. Jesus is teaching that humility is the doorway into God's kingdom.
Beatitude 2 says, blessed are those who mourn, for they shall be comforted. At first that sounds strange. Why would mourning be a blessing? But Jesus is talking about a deeper kind of mourning. Mourning over brokenness, suffering, and sin. People who recognize the pain and brokenness in the world and even within themselves are the ones who turn toward God for comfort.
Beatitude 3 says, blessed are the meek, for they shall inherit the earth. In modern culture, meekness is often misunderstood as weakness, but biblical meekness actually means strength under control. It's the ability to remain humble, patient, and gentle even when the power to react differently. Jesus is teaching that those who trust God rather than forcing their own power will ultimately receive what God has promised.
Beatitude 4 says, blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness, for they shall be filled. Think about hunger and thirst for a moment. Those are powerful desires. Jesus is describing people who long to see what is right, people who crave justice, truth, and righteousness. And he promises that those who pursue righteousness will ultimately be satisfied.
Beatitude 5. Beatitude 5 says, blessed are the merciful, for they shall obtain mercy. Mercy means showing compassion and forgiveness to others, even when they don't deserve it. This reflects the very heart of God. When we show mercy to others, we mirror the mercy that God showed us.
Beatitude 6 says, blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see God. Being pure in heart doesn't mean being perfect. It means having sincerity and integrity, a heart that genuinely seeks God rather than pretending outwardly. Jesus is pointing toward the importance of inner transformation, not just outward religious behavior.
Beatitude 7 says, blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called sons of God. Peacemakers aren't just people who avoid conflict. They actively bring reconciliation and healing where there is division. In a world filled with conflict, Jesus says those who bring peace reflect the character of God.
Finally, Jesus says in Beatitude 8, blessed are those who are persecuted for righteousness' sake, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. This reminds us that following truth and righteousness will not always be easy, but Jesus assures his followers that even in persecution, they're always blessed in God's kingdom.
When you look at the Beatitudes together, you start seeing a pattern. Jesus is describing the character of someone who belongs to God's kingdom. It talks about humility, having mercy, having a pure heart, and the desire for righteousness. These qualities often go unnoticed in the world today, but in God's kingdom, these are the marks of the true blessing.
So the question the Beatitudes ask us is simple. What kind of person are we becoming? Because according to Jesus, true blessing isn't found in power or status. It's found in a transformed heart.
If you enjoyed this breakdown in Matthew chapter 5, subscribe, because in the next video, we'll explore what Jesus meant when he said the believers are the salt of the earth and the light of the world. Leave a comment about the Beatitudes and which one resonated with you the most.
Thank you guys for watching. Bye!